Hello, happy rotating period. Today we're going to be talking about having a growth mindset when taking on challenges, such as during testing situations. Some people incorrectly think that you are either born smart or not. That's actually incorrect. Your brain can actually grow, and that's what we're going to be thinking about and working on today. So let's watch part of this video here.
So check this out. Carol Dweck and her colleagues wanted to look into the impacts that praise had on children's development. So what they did is they took over 400 fifth grade students from all across the nation, and they did a really simple yet interesting study. Here's how it went down. They gave all the kids a really easy nonverbal IQ test. There were 10 questions, and at the end of the test, they praised all the children in one of two ways. The first group was praised for their intelligence. So they said, "Wow, great job. You must be really smart at this." Now, the second group was praised for their effort. So they said, "Wow, great job. You must have worked really hard at this." Now, this is a really subtle difference, but the impact it had is incredible. So after praising the kids and getting them divided up into the two groups, they gave them all an option for their next test. The first option was, hey, this next test is going to be a little bit harder, but it's going to be a great opportunity to learn and grow. Now, the second option was, this next test will be similar to the first, and you will surely do well on it. Now, the interesting thing is, out of the group that was praised for their intelligence, 67% of them chose the easier option, while 92% of the kids who were praised for their effort chose the harder test. This is unbelievable to think about, how just the subtle difference in the way that they were praised had such an impact. Carol Dweck explains why this happened.
Child or adult hears, oh, you think I'm brilliant and talented. That's why you admire me. That's why you value me. I better not do anything that will disprove this evaluation. As a result, they enter a fixed mindset, they play it safe in the future, and they limit the growth of their talents. Whereas focusing on the strategies they use, the way they're stretching themselves and taking on hard tasks, the intense practice they're doing. Those are the kinds of things that say to a child or an older athlete, it's about the process of growth. As a result, they don't feel, oh, if I make a mistake, you won't think I'm talented. They think, oh, if I don't take on hard things and stick to them, I'm not going to grow.
Next, Dweck and her colleagues gave all the kids a really difficult test. It was one that they would surely fail, but they wanted to look at how the different kids attacked this challenge. Dweck noticed that the group that was praised for effort worked harder, longer, and actually enjoyed this test more than the group that was praised for their intelligence. This group got really frustrated with this test and had the tendency to give up early. After this artificially induced failure round, all of the kids were given a third and final test. Now, this test was the same level of difficulty as the first one, but check out the results. The group that was praised for their intelligence actually did worse on this test than the first one. Their average score actually dropped by 20%, while the group that was praised for their effort did significantly better, raising their average score by nearly 30%. This is a 50% difference in performance that was caused by a few subtle differences in the way that they were praised. This study shows how praise can either make or break a child's development. I mean, we all do it. We all want to be positive with the children we work with, so teachers, coaches, parents are always looking for ways to support their kids and tend to praise them quite a bit. So we need to look at research like this and realize, okay, praise is a good thing and there's nothing wrong with being positive, but we need to be very careful about praising someone's intelligence or abilities and focus more on the process and the effort that they put forth.
My question to you is, what do you think about this? Like, it's kind of an interesting study. Um, do you feel like it's something, what would you rather hear? Would you rather hear that, uh, that you were really smart at it or that you tried really hard at it. Just kind of something to think about. So think about how a growth mindset is when learners believe that they can grow their intelligence and abilities with hard work. The opposite of a growth mindset is a fixed mindset, which is when one believes that intelligence is something you're born with. People with a fixed mindset think you're either good at something or not, and don't know that you can work to get better. So brain research tells us that you can train your brain to get stronger and smarter. The brain has tiny connections called neurons. And as you learn new things, the neurons multiply and get stronger. When you encounter challenges or things that seem hard, your brain is making these connections. Um, to grow and get stronger. So when you take a test, there'll be some parts that might seem hard. Tests like an iReady test to change and adapt as you get questions right. They get a little bit harder. So when you do better on it. So when you encounter questions that feel harder, remember to say to yourself, "I can do my best." When you say to yourself, "I can figure this out," or "I will work hard," you are showing a growth mindset. So let's watch this video.
When faced with a big challenge where potential failure seems to lurk at every corner, maybe you've heard this advice before: be more confident. And most likely, this is what you think when you hear it. If only it were that simple. But what is confidence? Take the belief that you are valuable, worthwhile, and capable, also known as self esteem. Add in the optimism that comes when you are certain of your abilities, and then empowered by these, act courageously to face a challenge head on. This is confidence. It turns thoughts into action. So, where does confidence even come from? There are several factors that impact confidence. One, what you're born with, such as your genes, which will impact things like the balance of neurochemicals in your brain. Two, how you're treated. This includes the social pressures of your environment. And three, the part you have control over, the choices you make, the risks you take, and how you think about and respond to challenges and setbacks. It isn't possible to completely untangle these three factors, but the personal choices we make certainly play a major role in confidence development. So, by keeping in mind a few practical tips, we do actually have the power to cultivate our own confidence. Tip 1, a quick fix. There are a few tricks that can give you an immediate confidence boost in the short term. Picture your success when you're beginning a difficult task. Something as simple as listening to music with deep bass. It can promote feelings of power. You can even strike a powerful pose or give yourself a pep talk. Tip 2, believe in your ability to improve. If you're looking for a long-term change, consider the way you think about your abilities and talents. Do you think they are fixed at birth, or that they can be developed, like a muscle? These beliefs matter because they can influence how you act when you're faced with setbacks. If you have a fixed mindset, meaning that you think your talents are locked in place, you might give up, assuming you've discovered something you're not very good at. But if you have a growth mindset and think your abilities can improve, a challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. Neuroscience supports the growth mindset. The connections in your brain do get stronger and grow with study and practice. It also turns out, on average, people who have a growth mindset are more successful, getting better grades, and doing better in the face of challenges. Tip 3, practice failure. Face it, you're going to fail sometimes. Everyone does. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before one picked up Harry Potter. The Wright brothers built on history's failed attempts at flight, including some of their own, before designing a successful airplane. Studies show that those who fail regularly and keep trying anyway are better equipped to respond to challenges and setbacks in a constructive way. They learn how to try different strategies, ask others for advice, and persevere. So, think of a challenge you want to take on. Realize it's not going to be easy. Accept that you'll make mistakes, and be kind to yourself when you do. Give yourself a pep talk. stand up and go for it. The excitement you'll feel knowing that whatever the result, you'll have gained greater knowledge and understanding. This is confidence.
So that's kind of neat, right? So, what are some things you can do to have confidence when you um, face a challenge? So, think about what can you do? How can you boost your confidence when you face a challenge? So, think about that. I heard some good things in the video that you can do some self talk. You cannot be afraid to fail. Play that loud, kind of booming music to psych yourself up, right? So, think about things you can do. So remember that you can train your brain to get stronger and smarter. When you come to questions that feel hard, say to yourself, I can do my best. I can figure this out. I will work hard and keep trying. I won't give up. Remember, having a growth mindset helps us whenever we want to get better at something. We know that when you encounter a challenge, it's important to keep trying and persist. So, when you take on a challenge, try to move from this stuck space to over to this growth space. So, maybe challenge isn't exciting for you, but kind of get to the point where you can take on a challenge. Um, Persevering, move from this, I give up, forget it, it's too hard, to this, I'm going to stick with it, I can do it until it's done. And the risk taking section, try to move away from I don't like to take risks, I feel stuck, it's hard, to maybe it's not exciting, but I'm going to try to take more risks and push myself out of my comfort zone. So now I want you guys to, in Google Classroom, you're going to open up as soon as you finish the video, the sentence quiz number 2. Take the sentence quiz, practice using a growth mindset. When you're done, check PowerSchool for any missing work, and then read in your independent book. Try to use the growth mindset rubric to take on the challenge for anything that is a little difficult for you. All right, good luck, and I will see you.